Hi folks, we're Travel with Johnny and Will, and we're going to chat to you about our day 5 on our Marella Discovery 2's Spanish Flavors cruise. It's November 2024. Today we are currently docked in the city of Valencia, or Valencia if you're Spanish.
So today we got straight up, went off the ship, didn't bother with breakfast or anything. We wanted to get into the town. Marella provided a shuttle into the town for £6 per person return. There was a little bit of a queue, but the buses were coming pretty quick. But we did have to queue for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 or 15 minutes. There was announcements earlier on, basically to sort of say, look, there's no queue, folks, so if you are ready, basically, get out. But we weren't, so we did probably go at the worst time, but as Will says, 10 to 15 minutes wasn't long.
No. Now the journey in did take longer than I thought. It had to nearly do like a loop to get to where the drop-off was or something.
It was about 20 to 25 minutes
Seems
of
to
driving.
take forever. Like on the map, it's not that far, but it just took a long time.
It is worthwhile saying, though, that it is a very long walk. The last time we were in Valencia, we were on a different cruise and we decided to walk out of the port.
Which
took
do that.
Like 3 days.
Yeah.
And we were suffering.
Because it's a very big port in Valencia, and there's a lot of places the ship can dock.
Yeah.
And where our ship docked this time was totally different to where we docked the last time. So don't bother. Just get out of the port, get a taxi, get the shuttle. Do not walk.
Yeah. It basically drops off then just on the outskirts of which would be the old town. The drop-off point basically is at the edge of these large gardens that basically you can walk through, and they're actually beautiful gardens. But if you don't want to walk through the gardens, you can sort of walk over like a bridge on the road, and it takes you then to the Torres de Serranos, which are these sort of towers. Like two towers with an entrance into the old town.
Yeah.
Beautiful to look at. You can go inside them. Not sure if you have to pay.
I think I've seen people just walking up the steps at the back. You can just do that.
But we were just going for a bit of a dander and a mitch around, so we had no plans really. But they're absolutely stunning to look at.
And there was a gorilla there. So throughout the city, we did see different characters. So wanting a little tip for a picture, things like that.
Probably just at this point, we should also just mention that there is, as we go sort of through, we did discover there was quite a lot of people begging, and a lot of people that would have, say, like a map of the city, and then as soon as you tick the map, it's like, oh, where are you from?
They want to show you.
They literally want to chat, and obviously it is just to sort of try and get money. You, of course, fell hook, line, and sinker for the first guy you saw. Yeah, thanks, I'll take a map. Then whenever the guy started saying, you're like, no, I don't want it. And you just sort of give it back to him. I just don't talk or even look. Don't engage. Because I just know, fine, rightly, that sort of. It was like the time we went to Paris and we read up about the scams in Paris and about, a petition for some like deaf children's charity and. We read about this, and of course, walking along, some girl comes over to Will. Oh, hi, sir. I'm from such and such a deaf children's charity. Would you like to sign this petition? And then obviously they want you to try and get your bank details. And I was like, starts to engage and talk. Oh yeah, my sister's deaf. And I'm like, come on. Anyway, we digress.
So after the tower, we continued down the street until we reached this beautiful square. I will stick the name in below, because I can't pronounce it. And on the square there was this lovely big grand hotel. What was it called? It was the MYR Palacio Vallier.
Yeah. I think if we ever came here for a city break, I think that's where we need to stay. It looked very swanky. Probably not for the likes of us, but that's where we'd want to stay anyway. But yes, so then quite a lot of police around that area.
Yeah, there was, even on the way back,
but anyway, we then continued on walking. We headed on down another wee street. We came to another lovely, beautiful square. Again, Plaza de la Virgen. and it had a Turia Fountain. I'm reading this off the notes, but we'll put it on the screen here.
Yeah.
But beautiful fountain, beautiful big church, and that there as well.
There was a basilica, and we did enter, but they were doing
a mass
yeah.
communion, so we sort of didn't take any footage or anything, just to be respectful. But beautiful looking basilica.
And then at the other side, just as we were coming in, do you remember there was this little garden?
Yeah.
And there was like oranges grow, or mandarins or clementines, whatever type of orange.
Orange trees, basically.
Orange trees. And they were just really nice, just in like the city centre to see this fruit.
I'm just like wondering, like going along the city centre, like, could you rattle an old branch and take a bit of fruit, or is that theft?
Not allowed?
I don't know. If you know, tell us in the comments.
Yeah.
But like next time we come, bring like a juicer with us. But yeah, so that sort of square was beautiful, and quite a lot of people around. There's a few places to get coffee and drinks and things. It does sort of look quite touristy, so we didn't really stop there, but we had a look around, and then we made our way on for another wee bit.
So the other large cathedral that was part of this square, and one end of it was in another square, was called the Metropolitan Cathedral. And we walked around it to get to the next square, which we'll stick the name in, but we believe it's called the Plaza de la Reina. Yes. Plaza de Reina. And as we were walking along that section, I sort of realized for the first time that the streets were made of like this polished marble. So definitely worth taking good footwear. Don't be bringing some weird slippy shoes.
Yeah, and just obviously we had great weather, but obviously if it was wet, you'd really need to mind yourself.
Slippy, yeah.
But again, there was quite a lot of eateries and cafes around there. Some beautiful looking stuff in their window, like we had saw these croissants with like Bueno and and Kit Kats, and oh my goodness, and these beautiful big croissants. But we went into the alley hop shop.
They have a big cow outside every shop that they have.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's about.
I don't know. Maybe they like cows. But yeah, so we went in there just for a little mooch around and sort of see. Sometimes you could pick up little like trinkets and things in there in those shops, but we didn't actually buy anything this time. We didn't see anything we fancied. So after a quick look around the shop, we walked on for another wee bit, and we stopped at this little coffee shop called Le Granier. I think it's pronounced. But this little coffee shop, it's sort of in a nice touristy kind of looking street. And we have to say a huge shout out to Dimitri, one of our followers who contacted us on Instagram and gave us literally step by step of places that we needed to visit with the Google locations. Absolute gem. This worked a treat. Thank you so much. But this little coffee shop was absolutely packed. It was full of locals, and we had got a cold drink each. We got like a pizza slice, which was absolutely gorgeous. And then we had been recommended to try, I think they're called fartons, but it was like this sort of pastry, like a sweet pastry with like icing sugar on it, and
it's very light.
Yeah, and they were gorgeous. They were really tasty, but again, because it wasn't really in a touristy spot, we literally had the drinks, the pizza bits, the fartons for, was it like €13?
No, it was like €10 something.
Yeah.
Like so little money.
So again, really recommend sort of supporting those sort of smaller kind of coffee shops and eateries.
And you get a better value as well.
Yeah. And the food was just all sitting there so fresh and wow. So after lunch we did another little bit of walking. Not a huge pile. And we ended up where?
Probably the biggest square of the whole video. And it was the square in front of the City Hall.
Yes, Ayuntamiento, I think that's called.
The what?
Ayuntamiento.
Ayuntamiento.
I think. I can remember little bits of Spanish from my school years. But beautiful big square. You have you have the big sort of town or City Hall, which is very grand. Again, there's a few more orange trees about there. But again, it's just so nice. The architecture is just amazing, just to sort of sit and take it all in.
I always think back to that one excursion we'd done in Rome, and the lady always said, you know, raise your eyes and look up. And I think I spend a lot of time like looking up in the cities because the buildings are so beautiful, and it's definitely a place, Valencia, you need to look up.
So afterwards, we sort of looked at the time. We sort of thought, right, we want to sort of get back to the ship. So we made our way back to the meeting point for the bus, following our breadcrumbs that we'd left on the way there. There was a bit of a queue. It did seem as if it was a huge queue. But actually, once the bus that was sitting parked for 10 minutes started to let people on, the queue started to go quite quickly.
Yeah.
So we only waited for about 25 minutes. And there's a huge like wall around those gardens, so
Yeah,
if you
could sit down.
You could sit down, so it was quite pleasant. But again, the bus ride on the way back was a lot quicker.
It was.
So it must just be,
weird.
as you say, the route that they have to take into the city centre and the loop that they do.
To get
But
to that
it seemed
position.
a lot quicker to get back. Like we were only on that bus about 15 minutes coming back, maybe not even. And there was more traffic too.
We don't know what happened in the morning then.
Yeah. So once we got back on board the ship, we decided to have a little bit of a rest. I chilled for a bit in the balcony.
I think I slept.
Yeah, you had a nap.
Slept.
We always love our naps in our holidays. We don't get the luxury of a nap back home. We really should incorporate that into our days more. We're getting older. So for dinner tonight then, we decided to go to the 47 Degrees restaurant on deck 4.
And 47 Degrees is the main restaurant on board. And we actually haven't even been here yet.
Not
so
for
this is
dinner,
our
yeah.
first time. And here is a look at the menu.
Yeah, what would you pick?
So for starter, I had the garlic and potato soup, and it was beaut.
And I had a chicken Caesar salad, which didn't disappoint. Mains, I had basically the honey roasted gammon, which was amazing. It just fell apart. No words. It was just amazing.
Yeah, I had the chicken balti, which came with rice and naan. Again, even the chicken on mine was really, really good. Really nice.
And Will's not a big meat eater, and normally
No,
he picks his
I
way.
normally don't eat the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me to even eat it, it must be good.
Yeah. Dessert, what did you have?
I had the apple pie, but unfortunately, I didn't take a picture of it because you had, was it called chocolate?
A Belgian
I
chocolate.
was going to call it chocolate bomb.
Well, it sort of did. It was an explosion of flavors in my mouth when I ate it. So basically, I had the Belgian chocolate dome, which is a special dessert. There is a small surcharge of £4.95, I think. But wow,
But so it came out. It's a chocolate dome.
Inside
and
it
came with.
yeah, but inside it there's a salted caramel chocolate brownie, and then they come with like a hot caramel.
So this is the
sauce.
point when I had to film this so I could put it in the footage, and then I forgot to film my own.
Yeah.
But it's an experience. It
Yes.
was a food experience.
But the main dessert was gorgeous. If you like chocolate, get it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked it. But
Yeah, it's very sweet, and they left more caramel sauce in the little jug.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, which I couldn't have, but and it came with ice cream and like a sort of peanutty, buttery kind of sauce. It's
you liked it then.
not half. We have to say, we did talk to somebody on the bus on the way back in from Valencia today, and they were sort of saying that they sort of weren't fussing the food. Like obviously, food is really a personal thing.
It's subjective.
We have not had a bad meal here yet, and the service has been amazing. The waiters in the restaurants, no matter which one we've been in, have literally been tripping
Bar
over
that
themselves.
one lunch, there was a
Yeah.
slight, but again, we wouldn't even call it bad. It wasn't bad.
No, but the food service has been really, really good too.
So tonight's show in the Broadway Show Lounge was called The Greatest. And the stage was set up as an Irish pub. And basically the whole thing was Irish songs, fiddly dee, all the stuff that we sort of
Trad music,
traditional Irish music.
Yeah.
It was that good, I couldn't stop recording the songs because I was like, I'll not record that song, and then I wanted to
actually
record
at the beginning
it.
of the show, Will said, "I'm only going to record a couple of little clips,"
and I think I recorded every song.
Yeah, I think the only thing we can sort of say about this show was it's the right name, The Greatest.
Yeah.
They did not stop for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Between singing, dancing, I do not know where they got their energy from.
No.
It was definitely the greatest. So afterwards we went to the Squid and Anchor pub, which is up on deck 5 at the front of the ship. Which is different from the explorer ships and voyage that we've been on, because Squid and Anchor's always at the back, whereas here it's at the front, which is suited us because we're at the front of the ship. So we went there, and there was a game show on called Who Wants to Be a Morellionaire?
A Morellionaire.
And so we watched it. We had no trouble getting seats. We got seats at the bar, which was great. The bar staff there are super good at noticing whenever your glass is nearly empty.
After my first round of what we ordered, I didn't have to ask for another beer the whole night.
Yeah.
We just replaced it.
And every now and again, I just sort of got a nod, and somebody was putting more gin into my gin glass.
The bar staff work so hard on this ship, and they just don't seem to stress about stuff. You know, they don't get flustered. Like, there was an incident with a man who had lost his wife's card. He said he had handed it over, and one of the bar staff said, "No, I give it back to you." And then basically, he didn't have it, so the bar staff went and sorted it for him with the reception. So it was good. Like, that's good service.
The bar staff are great. They really are. But after that, then there was we actually got chatting to a member of the entertainment team called Jimmy. And lovely guy was sort of telling us about how he got into Marella and another cruise line that he'd worked on before for a short period. But he is only recently on a couple of weeks here at the beginning of his contract. But it was really nice to sort of see that entertainment staff have got that flexibility just to mingle with the passengers, start up conversations. There doesn't... And, like, we're just going to, like, digress, I know, here slightly, but this is one of the things, and we actually said this to Jimmy, that we have noticed comparing Marella, which is a British cruise line, to P&O, another British cruise line. And quite often people go, like, what are the differences? The staff is the big difference. They all are ships. They all go to different places. They all have food. They all have drink. They all have entertainment. But it's the staff that are different. And on a Marella ship, it really feels as though the staff are just given the freedom to be who they are, what they are, and to chat to whoever they want to, and to spend time with passengers.
And the passengers and the happiness of the passengers is nearly the priority over anything else.
And it makes sort of them happy.
Yeah.
Whereas on P&O ships, whenever we've been on it, we sort of get the feeling that P&O staff are like watched all the time, and they don't seem the happiest.
They just
bunch.
seemed a little bit sadder, I think, sadder.
So I don't really know what the crack is there, but maybe that's sort of why TUI has a smile in its logo. But that is the big difference. So it was really nice chatting to Jimmy, and super good guy, and he was telling us to stick around because it was the Island Vibes party that was happening. It was supposed to be outside, but they moved it inside to the Squid and Anchor, and it was starting, I think, like after 10, or I think it was about half 10
which is probably why the Broadway shows were pushed forward in the evening, because yes, again, the Broadway show cast team had to be up, getting everybody to clap along and have a good time and do all the challenges and win the flip-flops.
Yeah, so but yeah, there was so basically the room sort of split. It was a bit of a party atmosphere. The room sort of splits into two, and it's one side versus the other, and they guess the party tune from the first couple of notes of the song, and then they play it and everybody dances and things. It was great atmosphere, really was. And like I say, you had entertainment staff, you had M Club staff, you had the cruise director, the assistant cruise director, the showcast actors, dancers.
Teams, yeah.
It just seemed every member of if your job title was something to do with entertainment, you were there. You know, and there was loads of them, all in their green t-shirts, and just a super fun atmosphere. Basically, as our glasses never really seemed to get emptied, we sort of stayed there to near closing time in the Squid.
Yeah, we didn't want to leave.
No. and then, so yeah, that was where we ended up most of the evening.
And we were feeling a bit peckish by this point, so we did go to late night snacks at the Glass House, and yeah, that was good.
What did I have? Oh, I had a burger without the bap and salad.
I'm trying to think what I had. I think I
You
just
had
had fries.
And curry sauce.
Yes, fries and curry sauce.
It was pork vindaloo, and you just ate the
ate
fries.
the pork.
I ate the pork, and he ate the sauce and the chips.
So if you've liked this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to click subscribe. It is free and really helps us out, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.